Thank you.
Welcome back, welcome back. I'm just going through some photos that were taken by a professional photographer, Denise George. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Denise.
Thank you. Hi.
Welcome back to the community, too.
I know. Thank
When
you.
y'all having dinner again?
Are you going to come?
Is he invited?
You.
I've never
He's
been
trying
invited.
to get an invite. I'm not telling you. I'm just saying.
Richard cooks a mean steak.
Does he?
And
And
He's
you have
never
to bring
told
me a
about
bottle
it.
of wine or you don't get to come
Okay.
in. Sorry.
I could probably do that. Let's
No.
talk about your photography business.
All
You
right.
are in business, or is this just a hobby?
I am in business.
Or is it more
I
of a
am.
hobby and you just hopefully you'll make money? Or
No, actually, it
that's
has.
the way our business works.
It started out as a hobby, and I realized that I really liked doing it, and
Mm-hmm.
I was still working full time, and then my job went to part time, so I was part time at
So,
both. So,
yeah.
but now I'm full time.
So what
Photography.
makes a good photo?
What makes a good photo? Composition,
Mm-hmm.
lighting, exposure, and a subject who is enjoying what they're doing.
Okay.
If you're uncomfortable in the photo, it will show.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna run through. I don't know how many you brought. I've got probably about 15 here. We're gonna go through some of the photos and just
All
kind of
right.
tell us
You
about.
said-
Tell that there's a story in every photo.
There
Right.
is a story, and that's what a good photo does, is it tells a story. This little one, we were out in the middle of a field, and she just plopped herself down there, and the light was great, and I just snapped her photo. She got a modeling job from this photo.
Really?
Really?
You
Yes.
have to be
Yeah.
prepared at
I
all
do.
times.
I
to-
run, I sweat. If you'll notice in the last video that I put up on my blog, there's a point where I'm fixing her dress and I'm running off like that, and I was just sweating, and it was 20 degrees outside. So
Oh, really?
it's hard work. Yeah.
Now let's go back to. Can you go back to that one, Ian? That first one again. Now she looks comfortable. It looks like
She
it was just a moment where she was there and you had the camera.
Yes.
Took the picture.
Yes,
How do you work with these subjects like this to
You know,
make them?
kids are my
Kids.
favorite because they're so open, they're so genuine. They have no pretenses. They don't care if they look good on camera. They aren't worried about if their hair's messed up or whatever. They're just themselves, and that's why I love
And-
shooting kids so much.
But that's partly where your talent has to come in, too, because you have to be prepared to get that shot that...
Exactly, exactly. And you can't just set your camera up on one mode and go for it. I mean, you're constantly, especially with little ones you're running. I've been chasing them through apple orchards, and they're chasing chickens, and I'm chasing them. And so, you know, sometimes you're in the sun, sometimes you're not. So you're
Right.
switching back and forth. So it's an adventure.
Well, some people like to take photographs of just like, you know,
Trees and birds
trees
and
birds
flowers.
and rocks and things like that.
That's how I started out.
That's how you started out.
Yes, and then I basically wrangled all my friends and twisted their arms until they agreed to let me photograph their children. And I realized I really liked shooting people. It was very gratifying for me to get that feedback, which you can't exactly do from a rock or a tree. But I just started out that way, and then got referrals from those photos, which they showed their friends, and kind of grew from there.
Well, let's look at some more. I'm
Okay.
kind of interested to see what you have.
This little one, she's such a cutie pants. This is a good friend of mine who I hadn't seen in probably 15 years. This is her little one. And her grandmother said she was very twisty, but we managed to get her set down, and I don't know if you noticed her little curled toes or not, but she was just the cutest little thing, Caitlin.
Oh.
Yeah, the background's important. Where was this taken?
Actually, it was in their basement.
Okay.
I have a little portable studio set up that I can bring with me, different floors, different walls.
So you had planned to take these photos?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
she told me this weekend, too, that she'll go, you may see an area or something that you think would make an interesting photograph, and she'll just go do it.
Yes, yes.
So she's always got her eye out, you know, for
I
things
do.
that will make an interesting
Yeah, I think
background.
that's important. I mean, I've sat people down in front of a chicken coop before, and they give you this look like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I promise me, trust me, it'll make a great photo, and they're surprised.
Now you have some of those here. Well, let's go through some more.
This was in a little garden in Pendle. We just sat her down there and did some shots. Little senior photo session.
So you'll do that, too? same
Yes,
way.
this is in an alley in downtown, just plopped her on a suitcase and said,
Did you have the suitcase available, or did you?
I did. I will pick props depending on, you know, what kind of look they want, what,
So people should have an idea kind of what.
if you don't, I have a ton of ideas in my brain. So
Okay.
if you don't know what you want, I usually will ask you. I have especially for seniors, I have a questionnaire, about 50 questions that I ask and kind of get a vibe,
Right.
you know, on them. So
Okay. Got a little graffiti going on there.
yeah, graffiti. I love graffiti. This is cute. This was also in an alley in downtown. The light was beautiful, just bouncing off a wall behind me, and plopped her there in front of the wall and gave her an umbrella, and she was working it. This is my niece. We took her up on Baker's Prairie. And let me tell you, this kid, from the time she was old enough to realize what a camera was, she would cry, and then you pull out the camera, and she would just start working it. And I didn't have to coach her very much on what to do. It was a cold day, and we just took her out Baker's Prairie with a couple of old suitcases. And
I like the black and white.
Why black and white for this one?
you know, I have to look at a photo and decide if I think it will make a good black and white. This one's good because it has a lot of contrast with her dark clothing or dark hair. And then the light around her, the sun was setting, and it just kind of pops with her skin.
So can you do that afterwards?
I can.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That's a post-processing decision for
Okay.
me. This one was the past weekend when we got the
That's
snow.
cold.
Yeah.
She was a little chilly. We had her changing out in the middle of nowhere into different dresses, and she was freezing her buns off. But she was such a great sport. She actually wanted to have an impromptu wedding in the snow, and her family kind of talked her out of it. So we went ahead and did photos in the snow. She's sitting in a chair. She's got on jeans and boots underneath, but
Neat.
you can see when you zoom in at about 200% the goosebumps.
Now, if
Okay,
you look
really.
at her Facebook page, her husband shot some video of this being done,
Oh,
which
yes.
was really quite interesting to me to see the process and then
Cool.
see the finished product.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah, we
some
want more.
This was just an old truck cab sitting in the middle of nowhere beside a railroad track in Jonesboro. We just
Really?
did what's called
That's
a
cool.
trash the dress session,
love
where
that.
after your wedding, we take you and just do crazy things in your dress that you wouldn't normally do in a dress like the day of your wedding,
Exactly.
because you don't want to get it dirty. But she was game for anything. Gosh, that day we put her in water on a
Oh, really?
railroad car in that old truck. The only thing she was worried about was getting on a spider.
Yeah.
Other than that, she was okay.
I like that photo.
This is one of my favorite photos. This was done in the kitchen floor at the client's house. I try to, with little ones especially, go either outside where the kids can run and play, or to their home where they're more comfortable. They have their
Right.
toys, and when they're cranky, they could go and lay down for a while and get happy again. And we just opened up the shutters, and he was very curious. This was right at the beginning of the session. He was very curious about what was going on, and who was this crazy lady making funny noises at him with this big black box in front of her face. So I got some great pictures from this session.
He looks a little mesmerized.
He was. And yes, his eyes really were that blue.
They're beautiful.
I get that question all the time if I photoshopped his eyes, but he really has eyes that blue.
And that's kind of a nice thing to do, is not to do a lot of photoshopping.
Exactly, exactly. You can overdo it, and
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of bad Photoshop work out there. But I try not to. Try to keep it as natural as possible.
Right.
This one was
Cute.
also on a client's kitchen floor. I was actually terrified to try this setup. This was an idea that my husband had suggested, actually, and I saved it till the last of the session, and I said, I kind of have this idea, but I'm a little afraid. And she's like, let's go for it. Let's do it. She was such a laid-back mom. So we set it up, and when we first put him in the bubbles, he disappeared because the bubbles were
Just
so
went off.
big.
Oh,
And a couple of times he slid down in there because I hadn't remembered to get one of those gripper things for the bottom of the tub. But he was so happy just to be playing in the water. And
what kid doesn't like a bubble bath?
I know, exactly. We actually had like 5 little rubber duckies in there, but I think they've all disappeared in the suds in that photo.
How cute.
Yeah, I've done like 3 sessions with this family. Dad is a Marine and he is in Afghanistan. So every time he comes home, they would schedule me for a session because you just never know when it might be the last
Exactly.
time that you're going to have your family in.
Wow.
We just had a great time. Laid back moms are my favorite.
That was a good picture.
This was accomplished with the help of my sister-in-law and a hairdryer, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
That's the trick with newborns is a hairdryer. You just put it so that it's blowing warm air on them, and the vibration on the floor and the warmth just puts them right to sleep. And,
Oh,
So
wow.
the baby is asleep.
the baby is asleep.
Oh, my gosh.
She was
How
sacked out. She
cute.
fought it for a while at first, but
That's funny.
then she gave up. And
That
we
is
got some-
precious.
Oh, she was adorable, yeah. Yep, and she really is balanced on her hands there. There's a trick to it. You got to get the hands far enough back under the chin to keep their head balanced. And then
That's so
you will
funny.
see in rapid succession my shots where she just falls over to the left.
Okay.
So. This is a cute little girl on a playground. I love her curls. She was just the happiest little thing you've ever seen. Just, I don't know if you could tell, but she's twisting a wheel there, pretending like she's driving. She was a hoot, that one. She was fast.
You had to keep up with her, huh?
I did. This is a mama to be. I don't really do maternity sessions per se. This was actually part of a family shoot, but she was just barely showing. And this picture is kind of funny because she actually asked me to make her look more pregnant because she's carrying her pregnancy very, very well. But the light peeking through the trees behind her and the fall color and so forth, I just thought this was a great shot of her. And she's a beautiful, beautiful woman too, so that doesn't hurt, you know.
Right.
There's another little sweetie pie. She's about 5-6 days old here.
Oh.
And she was, again, just put to sleep by the hairdryer. She actually slept almost the entire session. She woke up for about 5 minutes to feed, and we just worked with her. She was sound asleep. Just sweetest little thing.
Cute.
And I think
And
this is the last one.
This is cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, another little newborn. We had him on a couple old crates. I'm always on the lookout for old props, you know, old suitcases, old crates, old anything pretty much I love. So if you ever see me out in the thrift stores, that's probably what I'm doing is looking for props.
Props, huh?
Yes. My husband wants me to quit buying them, but I can't.
You're going to have a place to store all of them.
I know. I've already checked into storage units.
So are you for hire?
I am. Kids are my first love. I really, really enjoy doing shoots with kids, but I do pretty much everything. Families, you know, you name it, I've done it. Trash the dress, weddings. I have done a few weddings, but they're not my number one thing that I love to do, but I have done a few, so.
Yeah.
But just call her and ask her and tell her what you what you envision, and
Right.
she can let you know what
I
she thinks,
can.
I'm sure.
I don't know if you, people have asked you, but are your photos for sale too?
I
Have you gotten into
do
that yet?
a session fee, and then I have people buy prints from me, and I do offer a CD for sale, and it is a little more expensive. But I prefer to have complete control over my work so that I know the product that you're going to be showing to someone looks good.
Right.
You know, I don't want it to be a print from a low rent chain
Right.
that doesn't do color correction and all that good stuff.
Okay, all right.
So
Now, I want to mention that Denise has a Facebook page, Denise George Photography.
I do.
And if someone is interested in hiring you, how can they get in touch with you? I mean, obviously Facebook, but how else?
Facebook me. I have a website. I have a blog, and both of those have contact forms and my phone number and a direct email address if you want to email me. I just started doing a lot of charity work this year. It's my year of giving back is what I kind of set for myself this year, a goal. So I'm a member of OpLove, which is a new charity for military families, which I kind of was already doing, but this charity says that we'll do the session for free, and we'll send the service member overseas an album, so he'll have a little piece of home with him and photos to remind him of what he's fighting for. And then it's not required by the program, but I also offer a few free prints for the family that's here at home.
Okay.
So, and I work with Humane Society, and after the ladies from the hospice care left, I asked them about doing some volunteer work for them
Good,
too. So,
good.
yeah. So
Wonderful.
We thank
I
you
don't
for-
just do paid sessions. I can do some volunteer stuff
Okay.
too. So.
And you
Okay.
probably want to maybe have a show and maybe sell some of the work that you've done.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe that's next.
Maybe it's next. I don't know.
Denise, thanks so much. We're
Thank you for
totally out of
having
time.
me.
Thank you so much for being here. I'd like to thank all the people who've been on the show, and thank you for showing up once again. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you so
Dan.
much for being the focal point of the show.
That would be me, Diva.
Yeah. And thank you, and see you again next time.
All right.